in the War Within Season 1. It's going to be one of the dungeons not from the War Within, since we've already covered those ones. So this is going to be things like Necrotic Wake, Mists-of-Tirna Scythe, Siege of Borealis, and Grim Batol. We're going to go ahead and start with Necrotic Wake today. And just as a reminder, as always in these videos, the goal here is we want to look through the bosses and find, change the color of 2 bars. One is going to be red, one is going to be yellow, just because that's what works with my personal Bigwig setup. And then we are going to set a countdown for something on each boss, ideally. So, first boss in Necrotic Wake is Blightbone. The big ones here is probably going to be the Heaving Wretch, is where he picks a random player and does a bunch of damage to them and those around them. So the idea is when you get targeted by it, you need to run behind the boss, have him use the ability on you, and you press a big defensive because it hurts really bad, and then you run back, and it spawns these little ads that you have to run away from. So the Heaving Wretch is definitely what we're going to want a cooldown for, or not a cooldown, sorry, a countdown. That way it's easy to remember, like when we start hearing that countdown, we can be ready to kind of pre-position and move if we get targeted by it. The next ability, and I think the only other ability he really does, is the Fetid Gas, which is where he spawns like this big AoE field around him, and then you need to move away. So really not too important. I would honestly say Heaving Wretch is really the only ability he does. I guess he does Crunch on the tank, which is definitely a lot of damage. So I think what we will do is actually we will move, or we'll turn Heaving Wretch. It'll be a countdown, but it'll also be a red bar. That way we can keep an eye on it from, longer than 5 seconds remaining on it. And then the yellow bar can be the Crunch, since that will be hitting the tank really hard. That way we can preemptively use stuff like externals or kind of plan that out. I don't know, let's see. We want to disable this option that says tank only, because basically what that is doing is it will only load this ability in Bigwigs if we're a tank, otherwise we won't get alerts for it. And we definitely want alerts for it, so we are going to do that. And I think that's it for boss 1. So boss 2 is Amarth the Harvester. This is the guy that's riding like the Drake. Or dragon. I think drakes don't have wings. I don't know the lore. So let's see. There is definitely a few important ones here. First, he does a frontal breath, so we might want to have a countdown for that. That way we're just prepared for it. So let's go ahead and enable that. And then next we have the ad spawns, and when he blows up the ads. So when he blows up the ads, that's what's going to do damage, because even if there's no ads that blow up, he puts a, I believe this is the ability that he puts a dot on everybody in the entire group for, I don't remember exactly how long it is, but it is a very heavy hitting dot. I'm wondering if it's actually in like the dungeon journal or something. Let's check. This is from Shadowlands. It's Amarth. Final Harvest. Deals damage to players, otherwise it's blah blah. Okay, right here, 23,000 damage to players within 8 yards, but there's also a dot portion of it. It's just not showing it. That's really interesting. I definitely know there's at least like an AoE mechanic that he does. So we're going to set that as our red bar, the Final Harvest. And then for a yellow bar, I don't know if there's anything else important here. I guess we could do Land of the Dead, because that would like let us know when the ads are going to spawn. That way we're just kind of ready to group them all up. Or, if we have even just something as simple as like we have an AoE ability ready, or we want to save our kick or something like that, then we know when the ads are roughly spawning, because you have to kick in. I think there's 2 caster ads and then melee ads, and you want to kick the casters in. Or I think alternatively there's a way to like crowd control them or something and make them immune to the AoE destruction thing that the boss does. So this will be our yellow bar. And then I think that's it. Alright, next up is Surgeon Stitchflesh. Okay, so the big ones here are that, like, the whole idea of the fight is that he creates these ads, and you need the ads in order to hook him off of his platform to do damage to him. But you also don't want to, you also want to kill the creations, because if you don't, he'll keep spawning more of them, and then you'll get too many of them downstairs, and then you will die because they hurt the tank really bad. So the first major thing is definitely going to be, let's see. I think what we will do is, there's a few different abilities we could put the countdown for, but I think we're going to do the meat hook. That way we just know when to expect it. So we'll do a countdown for the hook, which is where we want to position ourselves to, let's see. Yeah, okay. There's also the embalming ichor, which is what we don't want to bait on the platform. Yeah, we'll just stay away from the platform, and then when we start hearing the countdown timer, that's when we can move towards it. So, hook will be countdown, and then we will have, he doesn't really do big AoE damage anywhere, so we'll probably just have the escape, which is where he jumps away, and you need to hook him as he's jumping away, or, you know, because there's usually a hook as he's escaping, so you can aim the hook and grab him a second time. So we'll probably enable that as our yellow. That way it's just easier to pay attention to. Again, there's no like unavoidable damage abilities that he really does in this fight. It's just playing the fight correctly and keeping the tank alive. And then the red would probably be, I would think the fixation is definitely important, because he fixates a random player and you want to fixate him in the right way. Or it could be the awaken creation. That way we have an idea of when we need to kill the other ad. So I think for now we'll do the awaken creation. That way we have a better idea of when the ad spawns, and when the escape is happening, and when the hook is happening, like the three major abilities. Might change it later, but we'll do that for now. Alright, and then we have the last boss, which is Nalthor the Rimebinder. This one's pretty easy, I think. So we're going to want Icebound Aegis as our red bar, because that one, it does unavoidable AoE damage to everybody until the shield breaks, which is a very large shield in Mythic Plus. So that will be our red bar, because we're going to want to use our healing cooldowns there. And then we'll probably have our countdown timer as, I believe, let's see. We could do either Dark Exile or Comet Storm. I think we'll do Comet Storm. That way we're just kind of aware of where other players are as the countdown's happening, so we don't run Comet Storms over them. And then yellow can be the Frozen Binds, because we're going to want to dispel that, and that's a mechanic that we kind of want to spread out for as well, just like the Comet Storm. So that'll give us a little bit of preemptive time to look at that. So again, that'll be Icebound Aegis is the healing mechanic, so that's going to be our red bar. Comet Storm is going to be our countdown, that way we can just kind of pre-position for it. And then Frozen Binds will be yellow, that way we can keep an eye on it. And I believe with that, that is all the bosses. Again, with Trash, I usually wait until I'm actually in the dungeon and running it a few times before I decide what to do with any of these, if anything. So, I think that's going to be all for now. All right. Thank you guys for watching. We will release the last 3 over the next few days, over the weekend. And then I have planned for next week, I want to be streaming a lot of Mythic Plus, and then I also would like to make a lot of Healing Out Loud videos. I'm going to record some Healing Out Loud videos of Raid this weekend, but because I'm uploading these Mythic Plus videos, I don't know if I'll be able to get to those, like if I'll be able to upload them. I might have to wait to upload them until next week. So next week, basically expect a mix of maybe Raid and Mythic Plus Healing Out Loud commentaries from various healers. Right now I've been mostly working on like Disc Priest, Preservation Evoker, and Resto Shaman in Raid and stuff, but I am trying to get all my healers caught up. Like right now I'm on my Paladin. I'm going to be doing some Mythic Zeros and stuff and Delves to get a little bit of gear and get caught up, but yeah, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.